very much for giving me the privilege to speak now. And well, talking about Africa, there are so many good things happening in Africa. It's not just only Boko Haram and all that. I was telling somebody that Africa is huge, and Nigeria is the biggest African country. And just also to say that the previous speaker was talking about assisted reproduction. And by the grace of God, I was one of the lawyers that stopped assisted reproduction bill in Nigeria. Twice they tried to bring this bill, which included surrogacy. They wanted to legalize it, and so on and so forth. And this is the source of children in Africa, you know. This is typical how many mothers dress in Nigeria, at least, in during ceremonies and all that. The mothers are very powerful in Nigeria, so we respect them and all that and all that. So the source of human life. And well, surrogacy, I will not go into it because we don't have time. I have very few minutes to. Well, just to say that surrogacy is a crime in Nigeria. Many people don't know this because, you know, Nigeria or Nigerians are very conservative in the sense that the average Nigerian is a cultural person. The average Nigerian respects the dignity of the human person. And he or she doesn't have to be a religious person. By virtue of natural law, the average Nigerian respects the dignity of the human person. So that's why the issue of surrogacy is repugnant, you know, to conscience in Nigeria. The issue of surrogacy. It's a crime in Nigeria, and by virtue of Section 1 of the Child Rights Act, you know, which talks about the best interest of the child is the primary consideration. Provisions there denounce surrogacy. Although it didn't mention the word surrogacy, you know, surrogacy, this word is a new concept. I mean, but it denounced the no person shall buy, sell, hire, let or hire, dispose or obtain possession, otherwise or deal with in any child, buy, womb renting. You know, the Child Rights Act completely denounces it. It's a crime. And I can go on, buy, sell, and so on and so forth. However, surrogacy is not a crime in those states that have no child, that have not adopted the act. A few states in the north, you know, have not adopted the Child Rights Act, so it's not a criminal. Yeah. Can a person enforce an agreement to buy or sell a baby? I'm saying this because in my office a few months ago, a young lady and a man walked into our law firm and briefed us to draft a surrogacy agreement so that the baby could give birth and the man will. And I looked at them and said, look, you know, I needed money, but I cannot draft this agreement based on ethical consideration, based on the law. And they were surprised. That's why when I knew that surrogacy is gaining ground in Nigeria, it was a shock to me. They wanted me to draft an agreement on a surrogacy. But an illegal agreement cannot be enforced. You can't enforce it. Okay? Can a surrogacy without charges or fee be enforced in Nigeria? The answer is no. Surrogacy is also a crime under the trafficking in persons. You know very well that, you know, one of the tragedies, as Africa is a wonderful place, one of the tragedies before in Africa is trafficking in human person and human organs. It is so sad. In Nigeria, because of poverty, some university students are selling their eggs I don't want to mention the university. They are selling their eggs. There's also trafficking in human zygotes, trafficking in all sorts of human organs. It is terrible. Where is this coming from? I will not accuse anybody. The pressure is coming from the West. I have not mentioned any name. I don't want to mention any name. But it is very unfortunate that this is happening. And they do this underground because you can't come to the public and do it. It's behind. So the trafficking in human person criminalizes all forms of human trafficking, which include giving or receiving of payments or benefits to achieve the consent of a person having control over another person. Over another person. A tug of war between rights, no? My right and other people's right and all that. It's a continuous tug of war. Still on the TP Act, it continues and all that. Definition of clearly captures surrogacy. Parties to surrogacy and other agents, doctors, lawyers, involved in the business of surrogacy, where there's exploitation. This is a lot of, servitude there, a lot of slavery of human persons. And they're taking advantage of the ignorance and poverty of the people. Okay, I have said that, look, the average Nigerian is, values, cherish family values and so on and so forth. But they are giving money to get these services. And this is still on the Act. Exploitation of sexual defines exploitation to include a minimum, the exploitation of the prostitutes of others or other forms of sexual exploitation, the privation of offspring of any person, forced labor or services, practice similar to slavery, servitude and removal of organs. With this, any surrogacy that takes advantage of a surrogate mother, whether by force or deception, is trafficking in human person. Trafficking in human person. That is what surrogacy is actually all about. Because the baby comes, of course, and that lady rents her womb for different persons at different times. And the child, whose child it is, I'm a lawyer. So if that child is born, whose child is it? It's the child. What? You don't even know the eggs that have been mixed and put into the lady. You don't even know. So it's complete chaotic. If you remove the moral aspect or whatever, it doesn't make sense really. That the rate of commercialization, the rate of abuse of the woman, the rate of is unbelievable. It does not make common sense. That the lady goes about donating her womb for so many people. At the end of the day, she's frustrated, she's tired, she's used up and dumped. The National Health Act outlaws surrogacy. I was a participant in making this law, at the public hearing, and it also outlaws surrogacy. National Health Act of Nigeria, and manipulation or sale of any genetic material, including genetic materials, engage in any activity, including nuclear stuff. Because when they brought the assisted reproduction bill, they said, we want to regulate it, the practice. Someone mentioned it here. You can't regulate an illegality. You can't regulate a snake. A snake will always bite you. You can't amend a snake because it's a snake. So you can't regulate an illegality because they are saying, oh, many people are doing it, let us regulate it so that, and we said, no, you can't do that, And it's amazing how we get our results, something that we have to give thanks to God for. We don't have money, we don't have influence, but 2 or 3 of us will go to the parliament and say, look, you cannot pass the bill. And that is the story. You can't do what, you cannot pass it. Thank God we always, we cherish to thank the effort or the tenacity of our Muslim colleagues. The Muslims don't give, their no is no. Full stop. So work with all these people across this thing to fight this. Enforcement, this is the challenge. This is the main cross of this paper, that these laws are there, but the problem of enforcement. Because why? The enforcement mechanism in Nigeria and the applications for the effective implementation of anti-surrogacy laws have thrown great challenge, not only in Nigeria, but across Africa. The laws are there, but just the enforcement. The police, or policia, as they call them in Italia, they are there, but they hardly lift a finger to enforce all these laws. We must strengthen enforcement mechanism in Nigeria, including weak legal frameworks. We must increase limited resources. We must fight corruption. We must strengthen inadequate institutional capacity, And this is what many speakers have emphasized. We don't come to this conference just to talk. We need actions. I'm an action person. I believe in action, okay? And when we go to United Nations, I was there in March because I happen to be a member of the Nigerian delegation. We go to United Nations, we don't just talk. We act. In 1 year, they brought the police to arrest me in the United Nations because they said I was opposing. I said, yes. I came from Nigeria. I did not come to New York for shopping. I came for action. So I haven't come to Rome to listen to fine talks. Action. And what is that action? To abolish surrogacy across the world. We need to be people of faith. Okay? I mean, looking at this, we feel with the finest human being I have ever seen. The best. La creme of human person. So we need to act. It's not a matter of complaining. Complaining does not go anywhere. We act. And let me tell you that in Nigeria, I'm not trying to exaggerate, but there are very few of us in the past 35 years, we have been able to stop so many things happening. We don't have money, we don't have good name, we are stupid people, but we get results. Now, community coalition, we need to work together. We need to combine and work together. We can achieve a lot. Community coalition, you can see typical Nigerian vehicle. You can see the people there, they are smiling and they are walking. They don't have anything, but they are walking. This is how we are to get results. And beyond the government, you can say government. NGOs, corporate organizations, churches, mosques, others should erect framework of solidarity to assist in abolishing surrogacy. I am very optimistic that by the time we leave here tomorrow, we have come up with 1 or 2 results on how to abolish surrogacy. We can't allow stupidity to be thriving in the world. And we are talking, we are laughing, we are complaining. So many things happening, and we have to do something. And it is possible we can stamp out surrogacy. It's not impossible. Things to avoid grumbling, avoid keeping quiet, avoid discouragement. Grumbling, complaining. Look at what they are doing. Who are they? Do they have 2 heads? No. They are like us. So we can stop them, I remember when we were in the Nigerian parliament and the minister was trying to promote something. I would not like to mention the name. And one of us got up and said, look, you can't do this. You can't. It's not acceptable. And the person talking is a nobody. And that bill was killed in the parliament. It didn't go. That bill was killed. But what we do is that we keep our ear open. Once any bill is about to be passed, we go to the National Assembly and send memoranda. Before I left Nigeria, we have sent a memorandum on constitutional amendment. They want to amend the Constitution of Nigeria. And there are certain things that are not very good. We send a memorandum. When I go back, we are going to defend it, and we will achieve it. So just avoid discussion. Proactive, reach out. This is a typical, you can't come to Rome with this. But this is the typical vehicle you find in Nigeria, community vehicles, you need to move around. Remember, evil thrives when good men sit back and do nothing. Evil thrives when good men sit back and do nothing. We must get up. We must announce ourselves. We must make our presence felt. Strategy success, we have to join hands. A network. We have to join our hands, and we will win. We join hands. And on this note, I want to thank the organizers of this conference. It is for their courage, for their boldness, in bringing all of us here, because the message they are passing to us, I will not speak for you, but is that when we join hands, we will win.